Did you know that you can use ChatGPT to generate models inside of Blender? Oh yeah, that's a thing. And the way you do it is pretty easy. You can download Blender, you can open up the scripting tab, ask ChatGPT to give you a script, paste it into the Blender script terminal, press run, and yeah, you can basically make anything in Blender that way. If you are a game developer, you need to subscribe to this channel, especially before we go into 2025, because in 2025 there is going to be an increasingly large number of software development tools that are going to allow you to do things that were never possible before. And in today's video, I am going to be showing you some of the best free and some of the best paid tools that you are going to need to have as a game developer. Whether you love me or whether you hate me, this stuff is real, it is out there, and I'm going to do my best to inform you as to what it can do and how to get it. And trust me when I say the stuff I'm going to show you in this video isn't even the tip of the iceberg. But first, before we continue with the rest of the video, I want to give a shout out to today's sponsor, FlexiSpot. As someone who is not just a content creator, but also is a software developer, I spend countless hours sitting at this desk every single day working. And for the longest time, I was sitting in a chair that wasn't just uncomfortable, but over time was starting to cause me some serious health issues that was getting in the way of me being able to live my life. We don't really think about the ways that sitting down for 8 hours a day can impact your health, but especially with me having a daily health routine, I start going out jogging, I start having pain in my left ankle. At first, I don't think it's a real issue, but time goes on and it starts to swell, gets to a point I can't even walk for weeks. I go to the doctor. Yeah, it's because I'm just sitting wrong for 8 hours a day. And over time, those problems build up until there's a breaking point, and it starts to cause you serious problems that you can't just walk out of. That's a pun. Didn't mean to say it like that, but it's true. So that's why I was very excited when FlexiSpot reached out and offered to sponsor this channel. And as part of the sponsorship, they sent me this fantastic chair. This is the FlexiSpot C7Max ergonomic office chair. And honestly, it's been a complete upgrade from what I used to sit in every single day. One of the standout features of the C7Max is its 0.2-inch latex seat cushion that has memory foam. So unlike ergonomic chairs with regular foam, this cushion has soft support and comfort even during long marathon sessions that will adjust to your sitting position as you continue to use it. You can really feel the difference. It keeps you comfortable for up to 6 continuous hours without any stiffness. And in addition to that, the 5D adjustable armrests are another feature that has been extremely convenient. I can adjust them any way that I need to fully support my arms, whether I am typing, leaning back to think, or even playing games. It's these small details that make such a big difference when you spend long hours working at your desk. And the adjustable backrest and the lumbar support really ensures that my posture is always supported no matter how I'm sitting. But the 3D adjustable headrest is what I really love because my old chair didn't have that, and it really takes strain off of my neck when I'm sitting there staring at a monitor for long periods of time. Now I can have an adjustable headrest so I can lean back and let it take that strain away. Ever since I have switched to the FlexiSpot C7Max, I have noticed a real improvement in how I feel at the end of the day. Less strain, more focus, better productivity. It is sturdy, it's reliable, and it's perfect for developers, gamers, or anybody who spends long hours sitting down. So, if you're looking to upgrade your setup for the New Year's, click the link down in the description. They're currently running a sale so you can get the chair at a discount, but in addition to that, they have a 30-day trial, risk-free, and a 10-year warranty if you decide to keep the chair. Can't get much better than that. Go check it out. I can assure you, your body, over a long period of time, is going to thank you if you're like me and you work a lot at a desk. Thank you, FlexiSpot, for the sponsorship. let's get back into the video. Today, in this video, we're going to be talking about three things. We're going to be talking about Blender, we're going to be talking about Cursor, and we're going to be talking about DigitalOcean. And before I go into all of those things, what are those things? Well, Blender is completely free and you can download it right now. It's on Steam, it's incredible, and even though it is a little bit technical, I am going to show you how you can make it significantly less technical, so that way people who have literally no prior modeling experience at all can use AI to generate models and all sorts of other stuff using Blender. Now, here's the thing. I know that there's going to be some people who are going to be mad about this, but I really have to assure you, if you are a beginning game developer, learner, whatever, if you were interested in this stuff, learning it with AI is the absolute best way. Why? Because you can see what the AI does, and even if the AI doesn't do a great job, you can still learn from what it's doing, get the basics, and then do it better yourself. And now, with Blender, instead of booting it up and just looking at a cube, you can actually make it make something with AI, which if you've never used Blender before, is going to be extremely useful. So that's going to be the first thing that we're going to be talking about. The second thing we're going to be talking about is Cursor. What is Cursor? Well, Cursor is basically just a modification of VS Code, which has been around for forever. Microsoft open sourced it a long time ago, and it's basically just a text editor that is built for people who write code. But Cursor is the one that actually has AI integrated into it. What does that mean? That means AI can not only write code for you, but it can also teach you how to code, and it can tell you the code that you are looking at. You can take Cursor, you can plug it into your workspace, and it can read all of your code and even help you write new code. Super useful. And then the third thing we're going to be talking about is DigitalOcean. I am not sponsored by DigitalOcean, but I wish that I was. Why? Do you know what AWS is, Amazon Web Services? Don't worry about it because you don't have to anymore because DigitalOcean. DigitalOcean is the easiest version of things like AWS, of things like Azure. If you have heard about Azure before, if you have heard about AWS before, but you've been too scared to even get started messing with those things, start with DigitalOcean because it is essentially all of the same tools and functionality as AWS and Azure, but it doesn't make you want to claw your eyes out when you're using it because it's just easier. The user interface is better. The functionality is better. This is literally the Apple iPhone of server infrastructure. And what can you do with it? What can you do with DigitalOcean? DigitalOcean is basically your connection to anything that you need in order to build anything on the internet. If you want to host a website, if you want to host a server, if you want to host a database where you can store files, you can literally make your own Google Drive with DigitalOcean. It's awesome. And it's cheaper than Google Drive. So those are the things that we are going to be going over today, and we're going to be going over them in detail. If you are interested in learning about any of this stuff, I have an online academy where I will even go more in depth with walkthroughs on how to create things in Blender, on how to develop software with Cursor, on how to build websites and monetize them so you can make money from ads or anything else with DigitalOcean. If you are interested in joining, you can sign up to projectascension.ai. And as of right now, if you're watching this video when I've uploaded this, I am currently doing one-on-one calls for free with all of my fans. You can book a meeting with me down below. I know that sounds too good to be true, but I'm serious. I'm actually doing it. Go sign up, and I will talk to you about AI. I will talk to you about game development. I'll talk to you about anything that you need, and if you get through a full call, I'll give you a discount code to our academy. All right, let's get into Blender. Here we are with Blender. Not particularly good to look at, it's just a cube. But here's the thing. Blender is completely free, and it's probably one of the best 3D editors out there. Some people use Maya, but Maya is extremely expensive, and unless you got lots of money lying around, which I would say right now people just don't, I would recommend definitely starting with Blender because it's on Steam, it's free, and I would say if you get good at Blender, you may never need another 3D editor depending on what you want to do. Now, when you first boot up Blender, you're going to look at this little square here, which is not particularly fun to look at, but if you've never made a model before, I'm going to show you how to have fun with Blender and maybe even get started learning how to use Blender without having any prior experience. And Yeah, it's as great as it sounds. So first and foremost, you're going to open this up and you're going to go to scripting. This is your home. If you don't know what you're doing, this and ChatGPT is going to be your absolute friend. And you don't have to just use ChatGPT. If you watch my other videos, I am a big advocate when it comes to booting up local large language models. So you can download your own little AI, run it on your own computer, and you could actually use that with Blender. You could even use this in conjunction with Cursor, which maybe you don't know what Cursor is yet, so that's later in the video. But when we get to that point in the video, just know this is compatible with that too. For now, however, we're going to use ChatGPT because ChatGPT is, it's ChatGPT. Everybody knows what this is. And we're going to ask it to make something. We're going to say, hey there, ChatGPT, my dude. I would like you to create for me a Python script that creates multiple glass spheres in Blender. I also would like a physics animation for these spheres. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put PLZ. And that stands for please, if you want to be particularly annoying. But I swear it actually makes ChatGPT put out better responses. Now, if you have this happen, that's because this is ChatGPT's specific mode that is essentially like Cursor, but worse. And it's really useful for editing code, but again, Cursor is better. But for now, we're just going to let it do its thing, and then we're going to use this code inside of Blender, and you're going to see what happens. All right, let's grab our code here, and let's head on back to Blender. In our scripting tab, we're going to press New. We're going to paste our code in here, and we're going to press Run. Boom. And there it is. There are all of our beautiful little spheres. And there's actually multiple ways that you can view objects inside of Blender. This is our unlit mode, which is very performant. So if you have a trash PC, Blender defaults to this mode when you're looking at things, so that way your house or your computer or both don't catch on fire. And there's a little middle mode here where you can create a low resolution shader view, which doesn't completely burn down your computer or house, but it still lets you get a good idea of the kinds of things that you have created in your scene. As you can see, we've got our little glass spheres here, but it's low resolution. And if you have a beef PC and you want to see this in all of its glory, you can click the rendered view, which will let your computer do its absolute best to try and see the full render of these objects in real time, or the closest thing to it. I actually just look, it's lagging out my face camera and my screen recording software whenever I do this. So yeah, unless you have a SpaceX computer, we're probably going to stay in one of these two modes while we get all of this sorted. Blender is primarily a tool where you're going to be creating these things in this mode, and then when you actually want to see all of these objects in their full glory, well, you're going to actually render it out to a video. But as you can see, what ChatGPT did for us wasn't just create all of these nice looking spheres, it also created a physics simulation. So if I press the spacebar key, boom, there we go. A bunch of spheres rolling around. And this is just a very basic demo, because let me tell you, the stuff you can do in Blender is absolutely insane. So if you get Blender installed on your computer and you start generating scripts in Python and just watching what happens, I assure you, your mind will be very quickly blown. But for the purpose of this showcase, I'm just going to show you some simple stuff. So in order to render our amazing video, but in full graphical fidelity, we're going to go over here to our output tab, and we are going to select 60 frames per second, because why wouldn't we? Make sure that the frame start is at frame 1, the end is at frame 250, because that's the entire sequence. We're going to set our output folder to the same folder that I use for all of my recordings, and we're going to set the file output to FFmpeg video, click encoding, and ensure that our container is MPEG-4. So we're going to get a nice clean MP4 file. Then once that's all set, we're going to go to render, and we're going to click render animation, and off we go rendering our video, which is also going to lag out my face camera again. So we're just going to let this do its thing for a little while. Boom. And there it is, our finished, completely rendered scene using Blender that we generated with ChatGPT. And like I said, you can use this in conjunction with anything. Blender is a completely free tool. I have already shown you a whole bunch of model generation tools on this channel. You can now take those and with ChatGPT actually create photorealistic scenes where you can create renders, you can create camera motions, you can create anything else you need with Blender's scripting layer in combination with any large language model of your choosing. ChatGPT, Claude, Llama 3.2, Cursor, anything, all of it, you can now use to create scenes in Blender. It's fantastic. This is not the last you've seen of this on this channel. I am going to be having a lot of fun with this in the near future. But let's move on to the next thing, Cursor. This is Cursor. It is completely free. You can download it right now. It actually costs nothing. But if you decide to buy a subscription to this, it is a freaking deal. I'm sure you guys know ChatGPT. I'm sure you guys know Claude. If you don't know Claude, Claude is actually fantastic. For $20 a month, you get unlimited Claude with Cursor. Maybe you don't know what I'm talking about, but if you do know what I'm talking about, you understand how much of a freaking steal that is. Even Claude doesn't give you unlimited Claude when you pay for their service, because you actually get a limit for the amount that you can use it every single day. Cursor does not have that limit. It has a queue system, so sometimes your responses might be a little bit slower, but you can use it all day as much as you want to generate code, generate projects, generate websites, edit games, assist you with coding, helping you learn code. It is amazing. Now, this video is not in any way sponsored by Cursor, but it really should be. Cursor, please, come on. I use this every single day. I absolutely love this. I think that everybody should be learning how to use this, but if you want to pick up some alternatives, there are alternatives to Cursor. You can get Void, which is a completely open source version of Cursor. You can get Windsurf, which is an alternative to Cursor that has a slightly different agentic code development system and a slightly different integration with its AI. Some people prefer it, some people don't. Or you can just get good old-fashioned VS Code with my favorite, the Continue extension, which is not as good as Cursor, but if you really just don't want to move off VS Code, you can just get the Continue extension. It's really up to you. Now, for those of you who do not know what Cursor is, there are two options inside of Cursor. You have Chat, you have Composer. Now, with Chat, this is just your good old-fashioned, hello, you are a large language model, right? And you can talk to it, it'll talk back. This is your normal ChatGPT experience, except it's got some nice things about it. So for instance, when you say, generate me some sample Python code, and it actually generates that code, instead of it being in a web browser, you can actually have this be integrated directly into your developer environment. So let's go ahead and create a file here, sample code.py, and we're going to take this, and we can actually copy and paste this, or we can even ask this to apply it itself. And the cool thing about this is, I don't know how many of you guys have fiddled around making code with ChatGPT, but if you were to ask ChatGPT to make modifications to your code, you have to sit there, copy the entire thing, or if it only edits parts of it, you have to look and see and figure out which parts of it that it edited and then kind of move it back and forth. With this, you don't have to do that. So let's go ahead and say, make the sample code about dogs. And when it actually generates the updated code, instead of you having to actually go through and like piecemeal figure out what the changes are, you can actually just ask it to make the modifications. So we're going to say apply. And you can actually see it will go through and selectively apply this only to the parts of the script that need to be edited, leaving all of the parts that are similar to be untouched, which is extremely efficient, but it gets better. And that's where we get into Composer. Composer is a whole new level of AI integration into your code development process, because Composer isn't just a chat GPT system. This is a full-blown software development suite integrated into your computer. And the way it works is this folder here is a folder on my computer. We don't want to give this access to my entire computer because that's a little bit scary. So we have it only giving access to this single folder. And inside of this folder, it can do anything. So we're going to go ahead and say, make me 5 text files about cats. And when you do this, it actually has the ability to create these text files inside of your project. But it can't just create files. It can also edit those files. It can move those files. It can do whatever you need it to do in order to help organize, expand upon, edit, develop, anything related to your code base it can help with. So actually, let's go ahead and say, I want all of these files to be separated into their own folders. And it will go and do that. Now, there is a lot of programmers out there who say that this is cheap and say that this is lazy. I don't think that this is lazy because you want to know one of the coolest things about this feature? While it is working, you can also be working. So let's make a new definition. While it is working. Get all dogs. Let's, I don't know what we're going to have to do. There we go. Some random definitions. While it is here, refactoring all of my code. That is a force multiplication. You can now do the work of an entire team by yourself, because for all of the people who say that it's lazy to use this stuff, it's only lazy if you use this and are not simultaneously also working at the same time. Because I like to work with this almost like it's a coworker. I have it doing stuff and then I'm doing stuff at the same time, as it should be. And if you want to get access to this yourself and make incredible things, link is down in the description. And let's show off some of the incredible things that you can make. So here we go. Brand new project. Absolutely nothing that is in here. Now, just like the Blender ChatGPT integration, one of the coolest things about AI and development is it's just fun to explore. There are a billion packages out there for Python, Java. There's decades worth of stuff that people have created, stuff that's not even copywritten, all open source. And the only problem is it's really hard to find because the internet is so big. You would be on Google all day just tracking these systems down. But that's why AI is so great, because you can find the stuff you want faster than ever. So let's go ahead and say, hey, make me a sample Python script that utilizes a physics simulation library for 2D games. And we'll actually have this create a sample script that we can play around with whatever physics simulation library in Python that it finds. And when it finds it, you can actually have it explain to you how the library works. You can have it make sample projects so you can get a better idea of the limitations or the capabilities of that package. It's absolutely fantastic. So here we go. We're going to accept this and we're going to run this. All right, here is the sample project that it just created for us. Look at that, physics simulation. I mean, these are just bouncing balls, but what happens if I were to put another ball on top of the other ball? Look at that! Full-blown 2D physics simulation. I know how many of you guys love physics, and let me tell you, AI is the ultimate physics playground. When you actually understand how to use this stuff, the world is your oyster. I mean, hey, let's go ahead and just spawn in all sorts of stuff. And once you have this going, you can go crazy with it. So let's modify this. All right. That's cool, but can you create a cloth simulation system using these libraries? Let's see what it does. So as you can see, we've set this off. Let's go ahead and kind of look at what it has done while it is out here working. Let's take a look at the cloth simulation that it's going to try and create. Boom. And there we go. There is our cloth simulation. Look at this. We can even grab different parts of the cloth and try to move it around. This is an absolute rabbit hole of fun. If you know nothing about coding, you can still get involved with this, and I'm going to tell you it's going to be good for you, because this is actually going to expose you to code, and it's going to allow you to learn more about code. And the coolest thing is the AI is not perfect. It will make mistakes. I would actually say the current version of AI is almost the best when it comes to learning, because it will get to a point where it'll make code and if you want to actually enjoy the game that you've created, you have to go in there and you have to fix that code that it created, which means you're going to learn Python. And while you're sitting there trying to fix its mistakes or change things, you can ask it questions and it's going to teach you more about the code that you're working with. Absolutely perfect learning opportunity if you are interested in getting Cursor. It is a $40 a month subscription for the enterprise tier, $20 a month for hobbyists, unlimited Claude. Use this all day. If you are not using this, you are falling behind. You absolutely need to get this. But the last thing that you absolutely need to have on your radar is DigitalOcean. Let's get into that, although that's not going to take as much time to get into because it's pretty simple. And I would say once you realize what DigitalOcean is and what it can do, you're also going to be just as hooked as I am. Now, DigitalOcean is fantastic. I would say more than fantastic, absolutely necessary. If you want to be someone that's going to be able to make money, have a business in the coming 12 months, especially as AI continues to spread everywhere, you are going to need to know one of three things: AWS, Azure, or DigitalOcean. And I'm going to tell you, DigitalOcean is by far the least hair-pulling alternative of the three. Now, AWS and Azure might have some perks and benefits, but I would say for the vast majority of you guys, if all you're interested in is hosting services, hosting games, hosting websites, stuff like that, DigitalOcean is your go-to. And I would say because DigitalOcean is so user-friendly and accessible, I think as time goes on, it might actually outcompete some of its other competitors. I mean, it's going to be hard to take on Azure and AWS because, Amazon, Microsoft, massive companies don't really have much of an incentive to make their products not feel painful to use, but DigitalOcean is that indie competitor that makes a good product. And I think that as time goes on, they're continuing to see success because of that very fact. Now, when you use DigitalOcean, you are going to be interested in App Platform. App Platform is fantastic. Now, as time goes on, you'll probably have to learn more about database clusters and even Spaces. Spaces is fantastic. It is the equivalent of Amazon's S3. If you don't know what S3 is great. And Spaces is DigitalOcean's equivalent of S3. Think Google Drive, but more from a development standpoint that you can do anything with. So instead of, trying to share files on Google Drive and it yelling at you because, the permissions aren't proper or you haven't paid enough or whatever. Spaces is essentially Google Drive, but you can connect it to websites, apps, applications, games, all sorts of stuff, which means your capability of using it for business purposes just absolutely skyrockets. And worst case scenario, if you want to use your Spaces just like a Google Drive, you actually can do that too. But App Platform is where it's at. And why? What is App Platform? App Platform is quite simply a website that is connected to a GitHub repository. What this means is that you can create a website using Python Flask or anything similar to Python Flask, and it will automatically deploy changes to that site every single time there is a change to the GitHub repository. Why is that important? Well, it means that if you have a team working on a website, it will automatically keep itself up to date. And it's a little bit misleading when I say that App Platform is just a website, because it's a little bit more than that. But for the non-technicals, you could look at it that way if you wanted to. App Platform is very simply a managed virtual machine. And what that means is you actually do have a computer, a server running in the background. I mean, you can use it to host a website, or you can use it for all sorts of other things. If you want to host a multiplayer game, if you want to host a system that generates videos, if you want to use it to host a Discord bot, or I don't know, an AI that automatically does your taxes, which is something that I actually have been building and helps a lot. You can use App Platform for that. And because it's connected to a GitHub, you can actually utilize Cursor, and you can make any changes that you want. And every single time that you press save on your computer and you commit that and push that save, From here, it will automatically update your website, server, service, whatever you want. Absolutely fantastic. Allows you to work by yourself, but create websites that anybody can use. It allows you to work on a team and create collaborative projects that everybody can update. It is the lifeblood for anyone that wants to make anything on the internet. DigitalOcean app platform is your go-to. And I just want to demo this for you really quick. So let's go ahead and make a simple little JavaScript physics game. Hey there, Claude. Cursor. My dude. Make me a simple physics website using HTML, CSS, JS, where you can click and create bubbles that pop. I don't know. Now, when we create this, we are actually going to be able to push this to our app platform server, and it will automatically be available for all of you guys to play around with it. In fact, I've had some ideas to create community projects that automatically connect to the app platform, so we could actually create community websites where everyone can contribute to it and everybody can play it because it's online, hosted reliably by DigitalOcean. Please, DigitalOcean, sponsor me. I really like you guys. Here is our little game. We got these balls that bounce around, and then you can click them and pop them. So this is actually pretty cool. Now that we've created this, what we're going to do is I am going to click a single button, and then this will be available to all of you guys, hosted on app platform so that everybody can use it. If you are a business person, if you are looking to create a business online, Cursor, DigitalOcean, it's where you got to be at. And let's go ahead and push this so you guys can all play it. We're going to go here. We're going to even generate the commit message if we want. It will actually generate a commit message for you by looking at the changes that you've made, which I think is extremely convenient. Usually does a better job of describing the changes than I do. And we're going to go ahead and press this sync button. And once we press that sync button, as you can see, our app platform is now updating. And as soon as this is done and it goes live, it's available for everyone, which is super, super convenient, but also just really fun and helps me make stuff that my fans can play or interact with. I have created entire websites using this exact system. All right, now it's live, and here is our website now for everyone to see and play. If you want to play this for yourself, the link is down below. So that's it for today. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. This is way more in depth than some of my other videos have been, but I think some of you guys will appreciate this. If you are interested in getting access to more classes like this, go check out our online academy, Project Ascension, and if you want to book a one-on-one call with me to talk about AI, to talk about game development, link is down below. At the end of that call, I'll give you a discount code to our academy if I think you're the right fit. And make sure you subscribe because I've got more stuff coming. This is only the beginning. And for those of you who want that chair from FlexiSpot, you can go to their website and you can grab the C7Max. They're currently having a New Year's sale with big discounts. You can use the code C730 to get an extra $30 off the C7Max. The more you buy, the more you save. Right now, link down in the description. And besides that, I'll see you guys in the next video.